How's it going, everybody? Hope everybody's doing okay in lockdown. I've been busy the last week or so working on getting my birds into the game. So I have these birds, some low poly crows that I made. I think they're kind of neat. They have this kind of origami style, which I kind of settled on. It's low poly, so it's easy to make. So my birds support two different designs right now. They have the looping circuit design, which is what you see with this one. This guy follows the spline and just goes in a loop. And I also have the ability to have them idle, like this guy, and then this guy will fly away if he gets disturbed by either getting too close or shooting at him and stuff like that, or just making too much noise, and that is all working right now. So if I hit play, with a bit of luck, you can see him now in an idling state. Here's the crow, and with a bit of luck, if the AI comes too close to him, it's going to scare him away, so we can see him flying away. Honestly, it was really fun learning how to rig and animate this guy. I mean, it's not amazing animations, but it's certainly, I think, good enough for what I need. Oh, here we go. Come on. Okay, so the AI is close now, so there he goes, so he's going to fly away. So that's working pretty slick. Let's see. So it's pretty easy for me to make seagulls or anything. All I have to do is switch over the model in that case and the sounds. Let me give a quick demo of the other type of guy, which is pretty simple. These guys just fly in a loop. You can't shoot them up the sky or anything. But as you can see, they're flying around. Pretty cool. I implemented procedural gliding there. When they're losing elevation, there's a chance that they'll glide, which just adds a layer of polish to the animation. It looks pretty sick. So it's pretty amazing how much just adding a couple of birds really makes this place feel alive. I love the gliding. It just looks so slick. And he's actually varying his wing speed as well, so there's a little bit of detail there into the animations. Now, something you can't really hear because I'm in simulate mode, every 2 seconds they're checking the proximity to the player, and if they get close to you, there's a high probability that they're going to do a hawk sound. So that's kind of neat. It's really cool just walking along and hearing one of these things fly over. So yeah, that's the birds. And the way that they work, I spent a lot of time on the tools, making it so it's easy to add new birds. Because I don't want to make a spline by hand every single time. That's just crazy. So what I do is I drag in my raven that I want to do something with, right? Here's my bird. And if I want him to fly in a loop, all I do is I drag in the loop spline, okay? This one here. And then what I can do is inside the bird act, I can pick the loop spline. And what it does, as you see, is it automatically attaches and aligns the spline to the bird. So I don't have to kind of try to align anything by hand, which is freaking sweet. And the spline that I apply, this is a loop spline. This means his behavior is going to be loop, okay? If I assign a launch spline to him, then he's going to be an idling behavior. So I can show you that. I can also disconnect the spline for whatever reason, or reattach it. So this is just a really fast way. And I have like a bunch of presets for splines. I've got like 3 different type of looping splines. I can also edit the individual instance here. So if I want this one to go higher, for example, I can just drag that up, and that just works. So trying to make it so, if I have a level and I want to put in 5 or 6 birds, it doesn't take me an hour to do so. It takes me a couple of minutes. So that's pretty slick. The launch spline quickly looks something like this. I can put in another raven. I can go launch, just pick the launch spline, and the launch spline is basically a lot shorter because this is more dependent on the level, I suppose. So here I can just easily extend the launch trajectory. And the cool thing is like, this is kind of set at an angle that looks pretty decent with the animations and stuff. The void itself has a bunch of different properties I can expose to it. I can open this up quickly and just show you. This is a child of a parent buoyed active for birds. But here I can change the type of bird. I can actually change the scale of the bird. That's easy to do because I don't have any collision on when they're active. The bird's maximum velocity, their acceleration, and so forth. This is kind of slick, and the proximity for being freaked out, flying away, etc., etc. So that's kind of nice and easy to add more. Yeah, pretty cool. A lot of work into the sound of these guys, making them so if I have a bunch, they're not hawking all the time and annoying you. So I have a bunch of like systems that say, this sound is played, don't play it again for a while, and stuff like that. Yeah. So you can also see clouds in the background, these low poly kind of clouds. I spent a day experimenting with the volumetric clouds, and I got it all working, and I was excited. But then I tested it in VR, and it just didn't work. It doesn't work underwater. It completely breaks when you're underwater. They don't work with multi-sample anti-aliasing, which is handy for VR. And they also don't work... let's see, there was one other major problem with them. Either way, they just don't work currently. So I have to make my own clouds. So this is what I came up with. So some very low poly actual mesh clouds. And the benefit of this is I can control everything in my game, and they are just cheaper. There's very little to these. Now you might be able to tell actually, but they're actually animating. I spent a lot of time, if I speed up the game, making these so they actually form in the cloud birth area over there, and then they follow the wind, and then they disappear. So these are actual real clouds, I suppose, actual animating and getting removed. You can see they're changing when it starts to rain as well. There's a storm on right now, so I've been able to modify their color. This isn't finished by any means, but it's just kind of working. There's still some polish left there, and the visuals of the clouds. But yeah, they really add a lot of life to the game. I can quickly demonstrate some other things I've been working on. Let's see. It's kind of cool when there's just open field here with these clouds and stuff. So I have water working, which has been a huge amount of time and effort. Wonder if I can just hit play here and see what happens. Yeah, so there's a lot of water systems operating. As you can see, I've got like rain splashes, which is really neat. Had to learn how to do that with CPU particles. So I basically have a small radius around the player where I'm triggering a couple of these CPU particle effects with collisions, and the rest are all GPU driven. I can go underwater, and it's actually playing underwater sound effects and visuals right now. And the game knows I'm underwater, so the AI won't see you underwater, as you've been spotted before, and various other things. I also got the ripple solver to work again, or to work. You can see the water's rippling there. That turned out to be just one render target that was not assigned correctly, so that's sweet, so that's working. I have, let's see, I got splashes working in the water, although I'm not 100% sure this is going to work, yeah, without the player, yeah. Just, you can see the ripples working. Oh, no, even the ripples aren't working there. Give me a second. Let's just move the player start to here so we can see it all happening. Okay. Selected viewport. Yeah, so I've got some very basic splash effects based on velocity and things coming in. But you can see the ripples there working. These apply ripples when they're moving every second or so. So if this was a flowing river or whatever, it just adds a nice little amount of polish there. So that's cool. Hello, Mr. AI. Why haven't you spotted me? Ah, AI. Either way. Kind of neat. Let's just see. It's actually really fun in VR just to stick your head up and above and below the water. It feels really, really immersive somehow. Sure why he's not seeing me. It's very odd. Let's just try again. Oh yeah, so the AI is actually scoring the water really low, so they can path in the water, but they won't go in there intentionally, which is really cool. Huh, interesting. I think he's breaking because he spawned in the water. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, lots going on. I finally figured out rain and occluding it from inside buildings. It turned out that I turned on mesh distance fields, and that makes it a lot more reliable. So we shouldn't have any water at all in here now. There's a few splash effects on the roof there, but that's just because the roof is too thin, so I'm going to have to improve that. But yeah, so the rain is now occluding properly. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. Yeah, so I think today I'm going to work on some of the background visuals, some mountains and stuff like that, and yeah, see where I get to. And I also want to put in a land void, a land animal of some kind, maybe a rat or a rabbit or something, so I'm going to have to rig and make a rabbit and animate it and get the animation graph and all that set up. But honestly, that was not too hard in the end. I know the devil is the details, the polish is what takes the time, but it's a pretty slick system in the end. So yeah. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll update you the next time.